The main new feature in Adobe Photoshop 2020 is that tool in here, Object Selection tool, and it's so similar by the way to Select Subject, which has been around in Photoshop before. However, this one is even more precise. So let's maybe start by selecting subject and see the difference. All I'm gonna do is pressing in here, instead of starting with that tool, I'm gonna click Select Subject. And now Photoshop is using Adobe Sensei or Artificial Intelligence to find main subjects. However, let's say we would like to select only that red barrel on right side. We can use that Object Selection tool to select only that one. So let's deselect, pressing Command or Control D. Then selecting our tool in here. And now we have two modes for our tool, either to use lasso tool or rectangle. Let's start maybe with lasso tool as it is. And if you would like to enable auto enhance as well, that will be nice. Then you can start drawing roughly around your subject and see how they are close to each others. And let's see what Photoshop will do with that. Very rough selection. And boom, here you go. We have that parrot selected for us. While we don't have the easiest image, it has so many details, so many colors. But Photoshop is doing already amazing job for us. Even we can keep adding more subjects to our selection, either using the same mode or maybe let's try rectangular mode. Now all we need to do is to press Shift key to add to our selection. I'm gonna draw a rectangle around the other bird and see what Photoshop is doing. Now it's picking our bird, missing the part. We can keep adding to that, pressing Shift and drawing another rectangle in here. Maybe switching to lasso tool for better results, pressing Shift. And here you go. We have our two birds selected. Of course, we can subtract as well, pressing Alt or Option key and drawing around our subject, roughly like that. And Photoshop is doing a very nice job for us. So as you can see guys, Adobe is trying to make selection so easy for us, and it's getting really smarter and sharper. However, let's even discover more about more features in Adobe Photoshop 2020. So moving to another parrot image as well. In that case, we can use the select subject, which is by the way enhanced in Photoshop 2020. Now it's doing much better job. So let's select subject. So now you can get cleaner selections from select subject option, and you can combine selecting subjects along with object selection tool, maybe to add some parts or remove some parts in a very smart way. And now also in Photoshop 2020, properties panel has gone so much better. It's now looking more like Illustrator's properties panel as well. So if you have a pixel layer selected, you can find more options in here. If you have your subject selected, for instance, scrolling down, you can find remove background, which will be masking or creating a mask for your selected element. And also we do have align and distribute options as well in properties panel. And you can always have more options in here for faster workflow. So let's maybe quickly remove background. So this will be creating a mask and removing current selection. Let's apply that. Now we have a mask created for us in our layer, which might be also helping in a little bit faster workflows. Also, presets has gone so much better in Photoshop 2020. They have more additions, and they are cool additions by the way, and makes your editing and designing process much easier. So let's maybe say we would like to add a gradient in background for that image. We can go to Window, selecting Gradients, Presets. Here you can find your basic or legacy Photoshop gradients. If you don't see them in here, you can always open them from here, clicking on that hamburger menu, selecting legacy gradients. And also now we do have amazing cool gradients from Photoshop. So here, for instance, we have blues. And if you would like to expand all these neat folders in here, you would like to see all your gradients, you can easily hold Command or Control and click on any of these arrows. You will see all your folders opened. So let's maybe say we like that gradient in here. And even to apply that one to background, you can easily rearrange your layers. So rearranging that one to background layer. So we have that one in background. And if you'd like to try another gradient, you can easily click on any of these colors to see how it looks like on your image. Or even let's say you would like to try a new pattern in background. So let's go to Window, selecting Patterns. And here also we have new additions to that preset, so we can see trees, grass, and water. And if you'd like to access legacy presets as well, you can always find them in here. Clicking that hamburger menu, you'll find legacy patterns and more. However, let's maybe apply any of these patterns. You can click and drag that one on your gradient fill to have that one applied in your background. And you can easily as well switch between them. So let's maybe select water, a very nice addition to presets as you can see, and I really like gradients, so let's go back to them. Let's maybe reapply any of these colors, maybe greens, that one. And by the way guys, if you'd like to easily customize your gradient, you can simply double click on that thumbnail where you will get more gradient options. Instead of linear, you can select radial. Or let's maybe go back to linear, and you can customize your gradient by clicking in here and dragging. So you have more brighter greens, which is really cool and convenient, and you can change your angle and these other options as well, scale, reverse, and so on and so forth. So now you have access to more cool gradients in your presets. Make sure to experiment with them. One of the cool new features in Photoshop 2020 in type layers, they are now supporting stylistic sets, which are already supported in Adobe Illustrator as well, and they are simply different styles that you can add to your font. So if you would like to experiment with stylistic sets, you can try maybe Arno Pro, which is a really great serif font. So here we have our layer and it has stylistic sets typed in here, and also we have FT, ST, and A. So going to our properties panel, you can see our font name in here if you would like to try that one. And scrolling down, you will find type options, including these options in here, which has been already in your character panel. However, now we have stylistic sets, which you can maybe try that one. ST, look at how that ST will be looking like an FT, or maybe A, which will be extending your letters like so. And also you can find your stylistic sets in here. You can be selecting them from here as well. So let's maybe try stylistic set 2. And let's disable all these options in here. And let's maybe go for stylistic set 2. And also now you can convert your type to shape. So let's scroll down in here. You will find convert to shape, which is basically converting that type into vector for these layers. And you will find that icon in here indicating that you have a shape, or instead you can be converting your type into a frame as well, which is similar to using that frame tool in here. This one was already introduced in 2019 and it's trying to mimic masking. So let's maybe select stylistic sets. Then here we have that image. It's on top of our type, it doesn't really matter. However, let me scroll down here, convert to frame. You can name it, okay. Now we have that one working as a frame, just like using frame tool or clipping masks. Now all you need to do is to just drag your image and drop that one on your frames layer. And let's also hide that background so you can see better. And let's create a new layer. We have the new layer button in 2020 looking like that. Simple tweaks in here to make it more visible for you guys from Photoshop. Rearranging our layers, filling that one with foreground color, pressing Alt or Option key and backspace. So you can imagine how it looks like. We can reposition our frame in that case to center. Of course, you can re-edit your frame from here. If you would like to insert image or stroke, now we don't have any stroke around our frame. So if we deselect that one, that frame will disappear. If you like to nudge your image, you can select that one from here. Then you can start using your arrows, maybe right or left, along with Shift key for quicker nudges. And here you go. One of the new features in Adobe Photoshop 2020 in navigation is that you can be navigating through your layers by simply holding Alt or Option key and clicking on your layer. So here, for instance, let's say we would like to identify kicking layer. We can simply press Alt or Option key and clicking in here, and boom, here we go. And we can also keep navigating through our layers, holding the same key, Alt or Option key, and clicking on that one. For instance, fighter jet, and in that case it zooms even more because we have a smaller element or subject. That could be very helpful as well if you don't usually rename your layers, and your layers panel is full of these unnamed layers like layer 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth, and layer 1 copy and stuff like that. And you can't really relate to your layers. You can easily hold Alt or Option key and click on any of these layers, and maybe later try to save them for saving some time. Photoshop 2020 is now supporting cloud documents. So basically you can save your files to Creative Cloud. Then you can access your files from different computers, or even you can collaborate with other designers. So let's see how we can save our files to Creative Cloud. It's so easy, going to File, then selecting Save as usual. You will be asked either to save that one on your computer, which is the regular save as option. So we can quickly go through that one. So you can rename your file, you can select your desired folder, and you can change your format or select your desired format from here. And you can create a new folder, and if you'd like to save that one to cloud as well, you can choose that option in here. However, let's cancel that for now, and let's go back to File, Save As, and here we have our second option, which is Cloud Documents. And bear in mind that collaboration isn't really available right now. It will be available in future releases, as you can see in here. And of course, if you don't like to see that every time you're saving your files, you can be selecting Don't Show Again. So let's quickly save that one to Cloud Documents. Here you can see your previously saved files on cloud. And let's quickly rename that one New York City. Then selecting Save. And now it's uploaded to cloud. You can easily access that one again, either from File, you can select Open. You'll find your cloud documents in here, or you can choose from your computer as well, if you're looking for files on your hard disk, of course. Or you can go to File again. Then in Open Recent, you will find your cloud documents having that icon in here, that cloud icon, of course. And it has BSD format, and it has C as well for cloud. And also in your Documents tab, you can see that icon as well in here. And you can also access your cloud files from your Creative Cloud application. So let me show you guys how we can access that one. You will find apps in here, select your work, then click on links to Creative Cloud Web. You will find Cloud Documents in here. Clicking that one will open your files in a web browser where you can be downloading your files from there. So as usual, there are always more than a way to access the same option in Photoshop. In Photoshop 2020, they have enhanced warp transformation in a very good way, giving you more controls over your transformations, so you can easily tweak certain areas within your images without affecting the rest of the image. So here, for instance, we have that very dynamic image. We have that cool guy doing flip backs in the lake. But let's say we would like to make it even a little bit more dynamic, adding more curve to his body or arcing his back. Now we can easily do that in Photoshop 2020 in a very precise way with few clicks. So all we need to do is to start our regular transform or free transform, pressing Command or Control T, then right clicking on our image, selecting warp transformation, and now instead of getting a regular grid, you can start placing your lines to form your grid in a very precise way. So let's say we would like to only tweak the guy. You can start placing our grid lines from here. So we have horizontal lines and vertical ones. And of course we can add both at one point. So let's maybe start with that one, clicking on our guy, maybe in the part, and now we can start tweaking that guy right away. However, if we start doing that, that will be affecting each thing probably in our image. So if we start dragging that point or that handle from here, it's affecting everything. So let's undo that, pressing Command or Control Z, and let's protect that part of our image, placing more lines around our guy. So maybe horizontal one will be here and here, and two vertical ones as well. You can even add another one in here to protect your clouds. So let's do that as well. And now we can start tweaking our guy in a much safer way. So selecting the point, for instance, and dragging up, maybe like that, and dragging that handle, maybe dragging the entire point up a bit. And now pressing return. Of course, we can spend more time for more details. However, it's amazing to achieve that result within few clicks. And we do still have the same old transformation options as well, so we can access them again, pressing Command or Control T, right clicking, selecting warp. We do have the shapes, maybe to apply a preset from any of these. And for your grid options, you can select your default grid as it was, 3x3 or any of these, or you can customize your grid as well. A great addition, as you can see, from Adobe, and makes life much easier. One of the cool new shortcuts in Adobe Photoshop 2020 is that you can use tilde key with your brushes to erase instead of painting, or you can be changing your brush's angle or rotation. So here we have that brush. If we start painting, it's gonna be looking like that. However, if you press the tilde key, which is below your escape key, you can start erasing from that layer, and we already have a background layer filled with white, so that's why we are seeing that effect. And also we can change our brush's angle using the same key along with arrows. So we can start pressing tilde key with left arrow, for instance, and we are changing our brush's angle. And if you would like to do that in a quicker way, you can add shift, so it's gonna be rotating like that for achieving a faster workflow. Now free transform is modified in Photoshop 2020 either for pixel, object, or vector shapes, and still you don't have to press shift or anything like that. So for instance, if you would like to transform that layer, which is caking layer, we need to press Command or Control T, and without holding Shift key, you can easily transform your shape and it will maintain its proportions. However, if you would like to distort your shape, you need to be holding Shift key. So holding Shift key, dragging up. Now we are distorting our shape. So let's undo that, pressing Command or Control Z. And the same also applies to vector shapes. So let me also cancel that, pressing Escape, selecting any of vector shapes, maybe rectangle tool, and start drawing. Maybe a perfect square, so I have to hold shift in that case. because remember guys, it's a rectangle tool, not a square tool. However, when I need to transform that one, I need to press Command or Control T. And now I don't have to hold Shift to maintain proportions, so dragging, it's still a perfect square, and you can see dimensions on the screen as well. However, if I would like to distort that one, I have to hold Shift key. So holding Shift key and dragging maybe from here, and here we go, we have a rectangle in that case. And of course that makes sense because you should have unified their transforming techniques. And for any of you guys, if you would like to go back to your legacy shortcuts, now you can do that from your preferences like it was before Photoshop 2019. So let's execute that, pressing return, and let's go quickly to preferences. From here for Mac, you can find your preferences, and for Windows users, you will find that one under edit here. Okay, so let's go back to Photoshop menu, preferences, general settings. You will find use legacy free transform. If you are so used to using Shift key while you're making your transformations, you can easily keep using that Shift key by using that option here. Also now in Photoshop 2020, you can easily convert your smart objects back to layers. Instead of double clicking them and moving to BSP file, you can convert them back to layers. So let's maybe select these two layers in here, pressing Command or Control and clicking on that kicking layer, right clicking these two layers. Then here we have convert to smart object. Now we have a smart object and we can see that icon here. We can always double click that layer to access them from here, maybe doing any retouching in here, then saving that and going back to our file. Or instead, let's close that one. We can right click our layer in that area. Now we have that option to convert them to layers back again. So clicking that one, we have that neat folder. So by expanding that folder, we can see our layers. We can easily re-edit them in here, maybe for faster workflow in some cases. And anytime you'd like to ungroup these layers, again, you can select your folder, then pressing Command or Control Shift G, and they are back exactly as they were. Now there are slight improvement in ContentAware Fill in Photoshop 2020. So let's go ahead and discover what they added here. Let's first unlock that layer. And let's say for any reason would like to get rid of these leaves in here. So let's create a quick selection using our lasso tool. Then let's go to Edit, ContentAware Fill. Now on the right side we have three new options. We have Auto, where Photoshop will be doing the job for us. However, it might not be that precise each and every time. So here, for example, it's picking from the surrounding area, including branches in background. So you can switch to Custom instead. Then we need to use Sampling Brush to tell Photoshop where to sample from. So we have the brush already selected on left side. And let's maybe sample from that area. It's clear, doesn't have any branches, and see what we get from there. I think it's looking more realistic that way. And also you get to choose rectangular, where it will be using rectangular region around your fill area or the area you would like to manipulate or hide. And I think that will be the least accurate option in most of the cases. However, each and every image has its own case and scenario. Now you can save animated GIF files or GIF files right away from your Save As options. It's now supported there. Simply you can go to File, selecting Save As, save on your computer, and from formats you can select GIF or GIF. Then you can save that one. And from here you can quickly customize your GIF file. However, I don't really like these options. I like to have more controls over my file. So instead I will be always selecting, let's cancel that first, go to File, Export, and I'll be selecting that one, Save for it. Especially for these kind of files, I have more controls in here. I can compare between original file size and what I'm really going after in that case. So here we have almost 900 kilobytes instead of 7.6 megabytes. And you can even take that to lower file sizes by tweaking some sliders and options in here. And you can instantly see how that is affecting your file size. Another new feature in Photoshop 2020 is that they enhanced some of their filters, like lens blur filter, and that filter is basically used to add some depth of field in your image or blurry background like that image of mine, which is really a bad one as well, by the way. So forgive me for that one. And also they changed the appearance of the crop tool rectangle just to be more obvious, as you can see. However, it's still the same. There is nothing new here in crop tool. However, let's apply that crop pressing return or enter. And now let's say that you took that amazing photo with your phone, unlike this one of course, and you would like to add some depth of field in there in background. And it wasn't there of course when you took that photo, and you have that one taken in portrait mode and also in HEIC format, which is going to be saving as well depth map for that image. And let me show you guys what I mean by that in a very quick way. Here we have our layers moving to channels. You can see our regular channels in here, RGB, red, green, blue, which are making these colors in here. And also we have depth map. So if we disable RGB, we can see that one in a better way. So here basically we have some grays in our depth map, and the darker that gray, or even it might be black in some cases, the sooner to your phone or your lens. And brighter grays will be in distant all the way to white, as you can see in here. And that's how actually Photoshop can build its own depth of field as if it was taken through an expensive lens. And also depth maps can be also created in manual way. However, that's a completely different topic. We're not going to be going through that one now. Let's go right ahead and apply our filters. So let's reapply or re-enable our RGB channels, disabling that one, maybe going back to our layers, then going to filter, blur, then selecting lens blur. So here in that image we already have a shallow depth of field, as you can see in the background. However, let's say we would like to make it stronger for any reason, or we don't have it in first place. So here we can select our source, which will be depth map in that case. And what's really new in Photoshop 2020 is that we can be setting a focal point by enabling that option in here. Then we can start clicking on anywhere to define our focal point. So in that case, maybe it can be my face, for instance. Then you can increase that effect by sliding that radius slider. And now we have very high contrast between foreground and background. Let's go ahead and apply that, pressing OK. And we can quickly check before and after, pressing Command or Control Z and Shift Command or Control Z to redo that. Pretty awesome effect, as you can see guys, with very few clicks within our image. However, here's a bonus tip for you guys. If for any reason when you transfer your images from your iPhone to your Mac or your computer, and they are transferred in JPEG format or JPG format, you can easily rename your extension. And let me quickly show you what I mean by that. So here's for instance that folder, which is including that image, and it could be looking like that. Let me quickly show you what I mean. When it's in JPEG format or JPG format, renaming, here we have our extension. It could be looking like that. You can easily remove that extension to HEIC, and then you will have that depth map included in your channel because they are supported in that format. One of the very convenient new features in Adobe Photoshop is that you can import images directly from your iPhone or your iPad right from Adobe Photoshop, and that feature is only exclusive to Mac computers. So all you need to do is to connect your iPad or your iPhone to your computer using your USB cable. Then you need to go to File, Import, Images from Device. Then you should see your device in here, either your iPhone or iPad. And once you unlock your iPhone, you should see your images in here. You can select your desired images to download, and you can select your downloading folder, and whether you would like to create a new Photoshop document or you would like to create that image into a new layer. Then you can select to download. And once you download that image to your computer, that one also will open in Photoshop right away. Also now in Photoshop 2020, you can easily close other opened files and documents, especially if you have too many of them opened in Photoshop. You can simply right click on your Documents tab, then select Close Others. And of course, if you would like to save your files, you can do that. Or you can do the same as well from File, then you can select Close Others. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video and you are excited about these new features. Stay creative and go experiment with all these new features.